Hello, I am Jacob. I'm the host of the show. Thank you for watching, commenting, and subscribing, and just being a part of what we do here. Entering Super Bowl week, there's a lot of things that go on. We're talking grand media sessions, everything, top to bottom. But it's not even just those two teams, it's the teams around the league. Like, for an example, former Panthers offensive coordinator Joe Brady is trying to get the quarterback coach job with the New York Giants. Now, granted, it sounds like they're going to give it to him. Joe Brady called plays in Carolina, and for the first 4 or 5 games, it looked great. After, it wasn't good. They lost to Christian McCaffrey for a portion of the season, and that really took a nosedive into what Sam Darnold and that Panthers offense really was. The Texans are still interviewing for head coaches. Still the favorite is Josh McCown, but they did interview Lovie Smith, their defensive coordinator, as the head coach. He has head coaching experience everywhere he's really gone. Tampa, Chicago. He's been a great coach. This, to me, this Bowles or Flores, which we'll get to Flores in a few minutes, are the 3 guys that I'd bring in. I'm bringing in defensive coaches. I don't want a guy who's an offensive guy. I want someone that can show our defense, this is the way we should do it. Our offense, let that work with the offensive coordinators and the staff we put together. Now, in some news that we had heard around the weekend, I actually said it wasn't going to happen, at least not this early, was Tom Brady retiring. He officially retired after 22 seasons. Tom Brady had released 8 messages on his Instagram in 8 pages. And he basically said, this sport, I always believe you had to be 100% all in all the time. And there comes a point when competitiveness is just not enough. And that's when he made that call. Now, granted, he made that call probably because of various factors. Because he's 44, turning 45. Because last year when he got injured, him having to come back, and he said that rehab was difficult for him. There's just a lot of things going on. And then probably this year with the Antonio Brown situation that was endless. When Antonio Brown was suspended for 6 games, and then Edwards and a few other players had troubles, and varying things happened that you just don't think would happen. Now, it's still, he led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns at his age. It's a remarkable stat for him to have. And I think he just wanted to go out with that ability of saying, I was still the best at my advanced age. Now, granted, the media is going to say all these things about, well, he didn't mention anything about the Patriots. Let the guy live his life, okay? Let him live his life. All he wants to do is live his life now. That you're trying to... This is a sport he's played since high school. You have to understand he's played this sport for over 80% of his life. This is not simple to just walk away. And a lot of players know that. It's not easy to walk away. And a lot of players started before he did. And he started in high school. So it was all this big thing, but he deserves it. And I think if you're a part of the media, or a person like myself, we should just allow him to walk away. And allow him to be okayed with that decision. Because when we talked about Sean Payton and Jay Glazer, when Sean Payton said he was probably going to leave and stuff like that, he told Jay Glazer 3 months before, saying, and like, I don't know what I want to do, but I think I'm leaning towards this. And Jay Glazer kept saying, it sounded like he was able, a lot of times these players and coaches cannot just come to grips with it, and yet he did, even though he did try and coach through the whole year. So again, for Tom Brady, congratulations on a remarkable career. 7 Super Bowls, 5 MVPs in those Super Bowls, the greatest of all time. Definitely will be missed in the sport. But I still think he'll be a part of the sport somehow. I don't know how yet. I don't think it's in media. I don't think he would take with the politics of it. But who knows what he could do in the future. We talked about Brian Flores a few minutes ago. Brian Flores is suing the NFL, the Broncos, the Dolphins, and the New York Giants, which kind of, if he sues the NFL, he's suing all 32 teams for discrimination. My thing is this. I don't disagree with it. I think there should be a lot more black head coaches. However, I don't think this is the right way to do it. I don't think this is the right way. I think there's another way we could have done this, where you're not getting blindsided by like 3 different people. And John Elway did respond saying, because according to Flores, Broncos came into his interview drunk and I don't really want to say it like this, but I'm going to have to, half-assing it. That's not a good thing. It's not. And in fact, Elway responded and said, no, we weren't drunk. We weren't doing anything of that nature. We gave the best impression we could to Brian to come here and coach the Denver Broncos before we had to hire Vic Fangio. And I do agree with that. I think that's fair. I think it was a step for Flores to move, but it was not a great step. Now he's still up for the Texans job. So this is all over the place. But I could expect in the future probably a countersuit by the NFL to Brian Flores. And for anyone else who thinks on this matter. The Washington football team got a new name last week, as they are now going to be called the Washington Commanders. Now, the problem with this is that it's very easy to understand. The Commanders, it could have been worse. I think the Washington Presidents was the worst, or the Washington Hogs. But the Commanders is not great. There's a lot of places you could have gone. The Red Wolves, I know that would have been a little more difficult, but you could have gone that direction. There was just a lot of places you could go. The Red Tails, you could have gone there as well. You could have probably mixed some of the two. Like, it was not terrible, but you guys went in a whole different direction. This was actually announced also on Twitter about 2 days before it actually happened. So I'm actually surprised that they got it right. The Bolin family has announced that the Denver Broncos are in the sale process. Now, there's a lot of people into this. Particularly, Peyton Manning is in one group, and John Elway is in another group. And the way it was explained was the group that can come up with the better offer, most likely are going to get the team. But they have to get through with the organization and then through the owners. if that's what they want. It's not a sale outright. Juju Smith-Schuster Instagram said or suggested it's his last time in Pittsburgh, that he's on the way out, and he was hinting on that he would want to play like a quarterback like Dak Prescott, as he did shoot a commercial with him for 7-Eleven. So it could actually happen. I don't know if it will happen, but that would be an interesting duo, Juju Smith-Schuster and Dak Prescott, or Juju Smith-Schuster and someone else of that kind of higher ability in terms of the quarterback position. The Green Bay Packers have parted ways with their special teams coach, Maurice Drayton, after ugly playoff loss. They didn't play good. Their special teams has been a problem all year. I like this move. The Vikings are expecting to hire Kevin O'Connell as their head coach. Former Rams OC. This is a problem I have, which we'll discuss in a future video. But Kevin O'Connell right now is the target as the Vikings' new head coach.